My in-laws tried declaring me unfit to control my spouse's fortune. I exposed their loan shark debt. What started as a campaign to paint me as mentally unstable and financially irresponsible ended with revelations that destroyed their reputation and exposed the dangerous criminal connections they'd been hiding for years. I'm Alexandra Torres, 34 years old, and I married Cameron Whitmore in 2019. Cameron came from old money. The Whitmore family had built their fortune in shipping and real estate over 4 generations. Cameron's trust fund was worth approximately $28 million, generating around $1.2 million annually in passive income. We lived comfortably but not ostentatiously in Seattle, where I worked as a trauma surgeon and Cameron ran a nonprofit focused on affordable housing. Cameron's parents, Richard and Patricia Whitmore, had always treated me with barely concealed disdain. I wasn't from their social circle. My parents were immigrants who ran a small restaurant. I'd worked my way through medical school with scholarships and loans. In Patricia's eyes, I was obviously a gold digger who trapped her child into marriage. The problems escalated dramatically in March 2023 when Cameron was in a serious car accident. A drunk driver ran a red light and Cameron's car was T-boned at high speed. Cameron survived but suffered a traumatic brain injury that required 2 surgeries and months of rehabilitation. During Cameron's recovery, I took family medical leave from the hospital to provide full-time care. Cameron's cognitive functions were affected, memory issues, difficulty with complex decisions, emotional regulation problems. The neurologist was optimistic about recovery but said it would take at least a year, possibly longer. I managed everything during this period. Medical decisions, household finances, Cameron's trust fund distributions. Cameron had given me power of attorney years earlier, a routine legal document that became essential during the recovery period. 2 months into Cameron's recovery, Richard and Patricia showed up at our house unannounced. Patricia's expression was cold as she pushed past me into the living room. "We need to discuss Cameron's care," Richard announced without preamble. "We're concerned about the current arrangements." "What concerns?" I asked, immediately defensive. Patricia produced a folder. "We've been reviewing the trust fund statements. There have been some unusual expenditures." I knew exactly what she was referring to. "You mean the $85,000 I withdrew for Cameron's rehabilitation?" "That seems excessive for rehabilitation," Richard said. "Cameron needs intensive therapy, physical, occupational, cognitive, and speech. Insurance doesn't cover everything. I'm paying for the best care possible." "Or you're using this opportunity to drain the trust fund," Patricia said flatly. I felt my face flush with anger. "How dare you suggest that? Everything I've spent has been for Cameron's benefit." "We're also concerned about your capacity to make appropriate medical decisions," Richard continued. "Cameron's neurologist mentioned you've been quite aggressive about the treatment plan, sometimes against medical advice." "That's not true. I've been advocating for Cameron's best interests." Patricia's smile was cruel. "Alexandra, we think it's time we took over Cameron's care. You're clearly overwhelmed and not making sound decisions. We're petitioning for guardianship." My stomach dropped. "Guardianship? Cameron is my spouse. I have power of attorney, which can be challenged when the person holding it is demonstrably unfit," Richard said. "We've consulted with attorneys. Given Cameron's condition and your questionable decision-making, we have grounds." They left shortly after and I immediately called our